Graphs of trigonometric functions. We will begin with a number line. On this number line, I am going to plot some special real numbers. Those real numbers are going to be the measure of some angles in radian measure. Measure of angles taken in standard position. First we begin with 0 radian. So 0 here. Next is pi radians. Pi radians are equivalent to 180 degrees. Pi, value of pi is 3.14. So little above 3 we mark it. 3.14 radians are there from here to here. 1 radian is so huge till here. 1 more radian is till here, 2 radian now. 1 more radian till here, 3. And little further, that is why 3.14 radians. Whereas, if you go by degrees, very minute degrees, 1 degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree, etc., etc., etc. If you go on, by the time you reach here, you get 90 degrees and 180 degrees till here. Degrees are very minute measures. So 3.14 is marked here, pi. Next is its double. If pi is 3.14, 2 pi will be 6.28, its double. And that angle will be one full rotation till here pi and one more pi till here. Full rotation. Next is pi by 2. Pi by 2 is the angle half of pi. So till here only. This is standard position angle pi by 2. So since it is half, we will be marking it exactly in the middle of 0 and pi. Pi by 2 is here. Next number is between pi and 2 pi, exactly in the middle of pi and 2 pi, we get this one, which is going to be 3 pi by 2. Here it is, 3 pi by 2 till here. So that is being marked here. Now, all these positive angles have negative angles also respectively. So if pi by 2 is here, minus pi by 2 is here. Pi here, minus pi here. Minus 3 pi by 2 plus minus 3 pi by 2 here. 2 pi and minus 2 pi. So this number line is modified. The thing is, we have plotted some special angles here just because we know the trigonometric functional values of these numbers. We may not know sine 2 radian. We may not know sine 3 radian. But we know sine 3.14 radian. Sine pi radian we know. So, trigonometric functional values of these angles we are aware of. Hence, to draw the graph of sine function, we will be using this modified real number line as the x-axis. Now we will draw the graph of the functions y is equal to cos x. X-axis and y-axis here. Angles measured in radian, standard position angles are marked on the x-axis. Table is ready for the cos x values. And the angles in standard position are going to be observed on this. First quadrant and fourth quadrant, cosine function positive. Second and third quadrants, cosine value negative. Now, let's begin with cos 0. When x is 0, y is cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So 0, 1. 0, 1 is the first point we are plotting. 0, 1 here. Next, let's go for x equal to pi by 2. When x is pi by 2, y will be cos pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 is 0. Cos pi by 2 0, so we have the point pi by 2 0, pi by 2 here, pi by 2 0. It's on the x-axis. Now, let's go for the three angles which we are familiar with. Pi by 6, pi by 4 and pi by 3. Each of them values we are considering. Cos pi by 3. Cos pi by 3 is half, which is 0.5. So little below pi by 2, little below pi by 2, little less than pi by 2. The y coordinate will be 0.5. So here the point is. Here we mark. Then still for the smaller angle, pi by 4 has the y value 0.7, 1 by root 2. And cos pi by 6 is root 3 by 2, which is equivalent to 0.866. That will be plotted here. So the first quadrant graph y equal to cos x will go from 1 to 0. So the shape of the graph will be like this. Here it is. First quadrant covered, all positive values. That's why the graph is above x-axis. Now we pass on to the angles in the second quadrant. That is 2 pi by 3, 3 pi by 4 and 5 pi by 6. All those values will be negative. Y values were going to be negative. Since they are negative, the graph will go into the below bottom portion of the x-axis. So the graph goes this way. The values, negative values, these negative values, plot here, and the graph goes down. Second quadrant covered. Pi by 2 to pi, pi by 2 to pi, pi by 2 to pi. These angles, cosine values are negative. It reaches -1. Now let's go to the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, again negative values. And further, if you plot, the graph will go this way. Third quadrant, pi to 3 pi by 2. Lastly, we reach fourth quadrant angles. Fourth quadrant cosine values are positive. That's why the graph is ready to go up. The graph will go up till 1. This is the shape of y equal to cos x in the interval 0 to 2 pi. 0 to 2 pi is one rotation. 0 to 2 pi. One rotation. 0 till 2 pi. The graph is drawn. But now we can consider for the negative portion as well as going ahead more rotations. It will be a repetition of this same graph, because after one rotation whatever the values come that will also be the same because of coterminal angles. Now negative angles. When you go for these negative angles, remember cos minus pi by 6 is positive. Cos minus pi by 6 is cos pi by 6. So positive. So the graph will go in the positive direction, positive above x-axis for the negative quadrant, still further here and going ahead. So even the cos x graph can be drawn from minus infinity to plus infinity. It is also a wavy curve going up to +1 and -1. Maximum is +1, minimum is -1. So the range will be -1 to +1. Domain will be minus infinity to plus infinity full. Very similar graph, very similar to sin x graph. The only difference is sin x graph pass through the origin. Cos x graph corresponding to 0, the y coordinate is 1. So it passes through 0, 1.